Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. So getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at DXY on the daily. We're looking at that extended wave Y. I was looking for an X2 and then a Z up. This is looking rather impulsive up here. So we may be still in this wave Y. On the H4, just zoom this in a bit. So we got that W, X, Y, X2, and then the Z up, and we lost all the bearish. We finally did get the bearish divergence, but we got an extended wave Y. I was just looking for an a correction in here for a B, and then a C down before we get more upside. It started to give a correction in here, but instead of falling over here, it just kept on going. So we never got that structure to trade. The sell. Really, there's nothing you can really do on this. You know, we got an impulse down. You know, would be looking for a correction in here. Instead, it's kept on going. So you really need. I'd like to see it go and break the top. Whatever's happening in here is corrective, but you know, this could come back down here for some sort of a flat in here, then give another one up, just breaking that top or not quite breaking that top before you get an A, B, C, and then more upside. So I'd pretty much just stay out of it, you know, unless you're looking for something like this. You know, you could look for a W, X, Y, wait for your X2, and then trade a Z up. You know, but you'd want to wait for this correction before you look for the buy. AU on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C on the weekly. We lost all the bullish divergence on the daily. So I was just looking for a correction in here and then more downside. Again, this is looking rather impulsive when we go down onto the lower time frames. H4, we got those 5 down with bullish divergence. Then we got that higher high. So you can only really look for the buy. We had the bullish divergence. So I'm just looking for a correction in here before we get an A, B, C. Again, the H1, very messy. It was hard to trade this. You know, has your flat here for a W, X, Y, in a wave Y. You'd have to wait for an X2 and then a Z down. EU on the daily. Again, we're in this wave Y, extended wave Y. We've lost all the bullish divergence. So I'm just looking for a correction and then more downside. On the H4, we got those 3 down and an extended wave C. Then we got this A, and I was just looking for a correction in here and then an A, B, C. Again, it's given a very deep, starting to give a very deep correction. So it's very difficult to trade. You know, we had that bullish divergence after this internal wave down, this extended wave, sorry. And yeah, so I was just looking for a correction and more upside, but there is no buy set up on it, as you can see. Yeah. So yeah, I'd just stay out of it again. Wait for a structure and a structure you know, and then look to trade in that direction. GU on the daily, we got that WXY looking for an X2 and then a Z down. This one never gave any confirmation that this wave Y was over. So more than likely still in that wave Y. On the H4, we got the 5 down, but we lost all the bullish divergence. So I was just looking for, well, there was that possible bear hidden, and I did say that this is valid to trade as bear hidden. It did confirm it on the so this can go and break that low. I sort of would have liked just an A, a B, and then a C, and then go and break the low, but it's just fallen over. So on the H1, we got that like A, B, C, and then WX. I was just looking for an A, B, C in here, and then more upside, but we've got a WXY, so you have to wait for an X2 and then look for that Z down, possibly go and break in that low. Yeah, you really have to wait for the correction now. If you're not in it already, there was a little setup in here, you know, that was your opportunity to sell. If you're not in that, well, you have to wait. And you on the daily, again, we got that WXY, got no bullish divergence, so I'm just looking for a correction and then get a Z down. On the H4, we got those 5 down with the bullish divergence. And so again, I was just looking for a correction in here for an A, B, C, and that is still possible on this. You know, you really can't sell, you know, very risky to be selling. But again, you know, you're really only scalping until this B wave's over. On the H1, do we have any bearish? No, there's no bullish divergence on the H1. So, you know, if you were looking to scalp it, you know, looks like you're getting very deep pullbacks. Yeah, you could just scalp it, but I'd stay out of it. UY on the daily. So we've got that WX extended wave Y, and then we're looking for an X2 and then a Z up. On the H4, we got that like WX, Y, X2, and we got the Z up. These were the targets, the 123.6, and it's hit the second target, the 161.8. It's still looking very bullish. There's no bearish divergence. So on the H1, it is looking corrective up here, but I wouldn't be looking to buy up here. You know, if you were looking for a structure, you could look for this to just go and break that top for an A, B, C, and then you get an A, B, C. Wait for this one down, and then look for a buy setup. You know, giving you a better risk reward. The Swissy on the daily. So this one's become very complex as well. We're looking at that WXY. Got no bearish divergence. On the H4, like I said last week, we're looking for the buy. We had that bull hidden, and it looks like that's going. So these are your targets here, the 123.6 and the 161.8. On the H1, I did say last week, you know, we're looking for this buy in here. We had this little flag forming here. I said you can take that. I took it. I got in around here somewhere, and I'm still in that trade. So unless you're in the trade already, you really need to wait for a correction and then look to buy. You don't want to be buying up the top here unless you're just scalping little flags, you know, which are just scalps. Like, you know, you want to wait for the correction and then look for the buy. UCAD on the daily. So this is starting to give more of a structure now that we can identify. It's been very, very choppy. So I was just looking for an A. Whatever's happening in here is a B, and then we get a C up. Now we can sort of look at it as an A, B, C in here, and then you get the A, B, C, and then you get the A, B, C. So this is complete of the B wave. So we can look at this as complete now as an A, B, and we get a C up. On the H4, you can only buy this. I'm only looking for buys, you know, like I said last week, you know, we got that bullish divergence. There was a little flag in here on the lower time frames. I got in just above the top there. I'm still in it. If you're not in it, you just have to wait for a correction. Wait for a H1 correction and then look for your buy. GY on the daily. Just go to this last section here. We got that like W, X, Y, X2, and we got that Z up. We didn't have no bearish divergence. And the problem with this one, like I mentioned, we didn't have that bull hidden either. So it was quite risky to buy, but it did play out, and we went and broke that top. So now we're starting to form bearish divergence. So it gets very risky starting to buy up here. On the H4, we got that those three up, W, X, Y. We're looking for an X2 and then a Z up. So you have to wait for a correction in here and then look for your buy. Again, you're at a top, so you know, trade accordingly. Lower your risk a bit, or yeah, keep tight stops. Starting to get that bearish divergence on the daily, so it starts to get risky. EG on the daily. This is very complex, and there's a couple of structures here, like I've mentioned. We can look at it as a W, X, Y, X2, very choppy Z down, or we can look at this as an A, B, C up in here for a large flat before we get an A, B, C. This is extremely choppy. You know, that's why I say you're pretty much staying out of it. Yeah, you're just going to get cut to pieces. But if you are trading this, you know, so here last week we had that possible bull hidden, like I mentioned last week. Last week I mentioned that we didn't go and break that top. You know, this didn't go and break the top for that bull hidden, and it was starting to correct in here. You know? So now we've got, like 1, 2, 3 up. So we're looking for an A, B, C, and then you could look for an A, B, C. But again, it's extremely choppy. There's so many different structures that could turn out to be. That's just one. Whatever you're doing on this pair, you're only scalping. Looking at gold on the daily, this is very complex as well. There's so many different structures that can form here. So we're looking at WXY. I was just looking for an ABC up in here and then get an ABC, but it, like I mentioned, it just kept on going. So we got that WXY. Now we have that bull hidden. So we can go and break that top. Yeah. So on the H4, we got that A, B, C. It went past that 100 fib and nearly got to the 123.6. We got the bullish divergence. All along here, we got bullish divergence. We got that impulse up and we're looking for the buy in here. It never went. Instead, it gave another 3 down, and now it looks like it's going. So you sort of can buy this, but it again, it's quite risky because we already have a lot of bearish divergence. So on the H1, you have to wait for a correction. You need to wait for some sort of correction and then look for your buy. Get a little buy set up. Well, then you could look for the buy for an A, B, C. It may turn motive on you, but yeah, you need to wait for that correction before you look for the buy. WTI on the daily. So we're looking at an A. And I'm looking at this as an A, this is a B, and then we get a C down, and then we get an A, B, C, then we get an A, B, C to complete this C wave. And then we'll be looking for more upside. So that's what the price action is sort of telling me. But on the H4, like I mentioned last week, this is ending. We're getting we got a WXY, X2, and a Z up. We have all the bearish divergence. It's very risky. This may not be over. It's looking a little bit bullish up here, so you may get more upside, but it's not something I'd trade. We've already got that bearish divergence, so it gets very risky. And we're looking for this impulse down, but there's no setup to trade it at this stage. So on the H1, we've already got bearish divergence. This can be some sort of a A, B, C in here for a flat, and you get another one up. It's not something I'd trade. I'd really like to see, even if this goes up and breaks the top, and then give us a nice lower low and a correction or a flag, and then look for a sell. I'm only really interested in the sells up here at this stage. Bitcoin on the daily. So on the weekly, we've got an A, B, C. That's what we have on the weekly. So then I was looking for an A, B, C. Then on the daily here, we've got 3 down. Now there's nothing to say this isn't over here yet. We are getting bullish divergence. On the H4, we got that WXY, X2. So we're looking for we're looking for that Z down. down to these targets, the 123.6 and the 161.8. Problem is, it's starting to look very choppy up here. Okay? It's sort of looking like this. Right? So maybe WX, Y, X2, and then a Z up, and then fall over. It's nothing. It's not giving the sell setup. That's the problem. Gave a nice one in here, didn't go. It was starting to give a nice one in here, took off, then fell over. You know, you're getting all these impulses. So, you know, whatever you're putting together, whatever structure you're looking at some sort of an A, B, C. We're getting all the bullish divergence. So it's more bullish, but, you know, again, we're looking for that Z down. So me personally, I'd just stay out of it until something's clear. You're better off to, even if you miss this last leg down, you know, even if you miss this last leg down, better off to wait for this and then look for your buy setup, you know. But yeah, because it's not giving a sell in here, it's risky to buy, you know, because this does look very corrective in here. So yeah. S&P 500. So we got that WXY. We're still in this wave Y, like I've mentioned. There's nothing to confirm that this wave Y isn't over. But I was looking for an A, B, C, a correction in X2 and then a Z down. That's what I'm looking for. Looking for that correction. On the H4, we got the 5 down. We got all the bullish divergence. We got that higher high. So I was just looking for a correction in here. I was just looking for an A, B, C in here and then another one up. Instead, it's fallen over here. So it never gave us that buy. Now it's turned motive to the downside, as you can see on the H1. We got that like WXY. You have to wait for the X2 and then you could look for a Z down. Yeah, you really need to wait for the X2 before you look for that Z down at this stage, because it's already gone. If you're not in this trade already, you don't want to be selling down here. You need to wait for that correction and then look for the sell. AU 200. So this one's quite difficult because, like I've mentioned, we got an A, B, C. This one never broke the low, so we could start looking at it as a contracting flat. Again, there's nothing to confirm that this C wave was over, and it's nearly at the 100 fib now. On the H4, I was looking for a buy last week. I was looking at this like, if I just zoom in a bit. So I was looking for an A, B, C. We're starting to get a little flag forming in here. I was looking for that C up and then look for the A, B, C. Again, like most of the pairs, it's just fallen over. Do we have bullish divergence on this? No, we've lost all the bullish divergence. So more than likely, this is going to keep on going. So yeah, we're in a downtrend. The H, I'll remove this because it's wrong. So we sort of got some sort of a WXY. So you really need to wait for an X2 and then look for a Z down. The DAX on the daily. Again, this one's very difficult because we got a W, very deep X2, wave X, and then we got the wave Y down. We never had any bear hidden here. So it was extremely difficult. So I was just looking for an A, B, C. We never went and broke that top like I was looking for last week. I was looking for more upside to go and break that top. Instead, it's fallen over. Yeah, the H4. So we don't even have bearish divergence on the H4 up in here. You know, there's no bearish divergence. And we're getting a possible bull. Oh no, we've actually broken that low. So we don't have any bearish bull hidden divergence. So again, you just need to wait for a correction in here and then look for a sell. But yeah, it never went and broke that top. So again, it's very risky because this can be like an A, B, C, and then give you an A, B, C. Yeah, or it could just go from here and this is all the correction and it goes and breaks the low. Yeah. FTSE on the daily. Again, this one gave an extremely deep pullback. So we got a nice impulse down and then we got an impulse up. This looked corrective, so I was looking for an A, B, C, just going up, breaking that top, and then give us another one down and get a flat in here. And then you get that like A, B, C. But yeah, again, this one never went and broke that top for the flat, you know, get another one down here for an A, B, C, and then more upside. It never broke the top, so it's risky. It's, you know, last week, I think we were looking at this as an A, possible A, B, C. We were looking for this one down here. And then if you get a buy set up, then you can look for the buy. It's bounced off this 100 fib here. So you could look at it as an A, B, C, as a complex, you know, very complex structures we're getting on this instrument. So, you know, if you are trading this, you'd be recognizing all these structures to be able to trade this because, you know, it's extremely choppy. You can see how choppy it is. But there's a structure there, you know, you could look for the buy. If you got a buy set up, you know, get it to break even. If it goes for you and breaks that top, well, then you could start to look for a sell, you know. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.